Hi guys, this is Lalana. Thanks for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today I'm going to be addressing another question that keeps coming up in the comments, and I've had some questions about this from you guys in email as well. So when we are trying to reach the physical aspect of the masculine, right, the 3D masculine, why can't we do that, right? Why, when we're wanting to explain this path to them, they just don't get it, or they don't want to hear it, or they just deny it and avoid it altogether? Why, when we're doing our best to sort of show up for the masculine in our highest light, whatever that might look like, why does that not matter? All of these sort of things, all of the externalities that we would normally have done in our past relationships, whether they were karmic or soulmate or non-family member, why do none of those things seem to work when it comes to the divine masculine on the twin flame path? So these can be other simple things like trying to sit down and have a conversation about your relationship if you're in and out of physical relationship, physical union with the twin, or why they just don't seem to get it, or why it's not reciprocal, or didn't you experience the same thing that I experienced during this activation process, or, you know, are you having these same energetic shifts, or all of these sort of things, you know, and especially in the beginning stages, but definitely even in the midway stages, we sort of want that touchstone from the masculine, right? Like, we're in this together, you're my same soul, right? That's what they tell me. We share a consciousness, and we have telepathy, and we're sharing thoughts and all of these sort of things. And, you know, I'm having all of these energetic shifts, and they're you at a higher octave. So what's the deal? Why are you not showing up in the same way that I feel you within, or, you know, in meditation or in dreams, or, you know, in telepathy and things like that? Why aren't you showing up like that in the 3D? And so a lot of times we want to talk to the masculine about it. You know, we want their take. We want them to understand. We want to tell them the story. We want to tell them our experiences. You know, we want them to get it, right? And as I said, in our past relationships, the 3D relationships that we have experienced, this usually works, right? You can have these type of communications, right, with other partners in the past, and they'll play out however they'll play out, but generally they're at least reciprocal on some sort of level, whether we perceive that as negative or positive. It's usually more reciprocal. Whereas with the divine masculine, there may be moments of that reciprocation, moments that they're like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but I don't really understand it. Or it could be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And they completely deny it. No, I don't feel any of that stuff. No, I don't even know what you're saying. It just depends, regardless of any of that. I see this all the time, and this is like one of the most difficult aspects of this path. And that is that when we want the masculine to show up in a way that we feel is loving to us, is reciprocal to us, is, you know, respectful to us, you know, all of those things that we feel should go along with some sort of romantic partnership. And most twins who have been activated on this path have had some sort of romantic interaction with the twin physically, right? And so coming from that place, we feel like, what the hell just happened? We were having this romantic interaction, most of us were, and it was quick, and suddenly it fell apart out of nowhere, and I don't really know what happened. And now you're kind of, you know, saying that you don't even, you know, you don't reciprocate it, or you don't feel the same way, or you don't really know what happened, or it was just a quick fling, or it was just not that big deal, or if it was just casual, blah, 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 blah. And so we're in that place of feeling like abandoned, rejected, unheard, unseen, unworthy, unloved. And in those wounded aspects of the self, we just want to be validated, right? We just want to be seen. We want to know that we're not crazy, that we actually did experience this with this person, and this person experienced it with us as well, right? So The thing is that the sooner that we grasp, and I know this is tough, guys, I know, but the sooner that we grasp that this was an activation period created by the soul to push you onto the awakening path, the sooner this thing gets easier to navigate. And the thing is that we hold on so tightly in the beginning of wanting this romantic partnership to stay, right? To anchor, to be what it was in those initial stages, to feel like it felt in those initial stages. And we tend to, this is what creates the chasing, excuse me, we tend to panic when that whole thing falls apart and, you know, all of this energy is rushing up. We don't really know what's going on. We have this incredibly intense, you know, emotion and intense energy. It's different for everybody, so I'm not going to get in everybody's, you know, experience. Everybody's going to experience this how they do. But this is when that obsession starts, right? And that addiction starts for most of us on this path. And we feel like we're just straight up out of control. I have a video on that, why you feel out of control on this path. And so we start just kind of spinning, start going round and round. And the only touch tone that we have at that point is the fact that the masculine on some level went through that with us in that initial stage, right? And that's the thing, because you can try to explain it to somebody else what you just experienced and they're not going to get it. Or, you know, you can try to say something's going on with me. I'm going through like these shifts and I don't know what's happening and my life is starting to rearrange itself, because we don't really know what awakening is, right? We hear what it is. It's very different when you start experiencing what it is. And when we start experiencing what it is and we start going through all these energetic shifts and our life starts to literally change right before our eyes, and our ego starts to break down, and the things that we have identified with, everything just starts changing and shifting, and all of this stuff starts flooding up to the surface. It's extremely overwhelming, and it's very normal and natural for us to feel like, let me lean on the masculine, because the masculine is somehow part of this, and I might not understand this in the beginning stages. Sometimes we don't understand it in the midway stages either, but I know that they're an integral part of why I'm going through this. And so if they would just hear me and listen to me, and they could just talk to me, and they could just validate that this is happening to them as well, and that they went through this, blah, 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 right? It's panic and it's fear, right? And this is completely normal, because all of your, you know, defensive mechanisms that you have been relying on all this time, as I've said in other videos, they're starting to fail. They're starting to break down, right? This is why a lot of times watching videos like this, although you don't want to binge watch things too much, because that can become, you know, sort of another addictive thing, but it can become very helpful, because this path can feel very isolating and it can feel very lonely. This is why a lot of people take courses, and then why they do coaching and things like this, because this is one of those paths that unless you're on it, it's other people don't understand what you're saying, and they can't, you know, resonate with you and all of these sort of things. And so a lot of times we need that support. And when we're not finding that support, then we're looking at it or wanting that support for the masculine, from the masculine. So this is where this massive like surrender aspect of this path starts to be like very much in your face and very much comes online. And this, I think, is one of the key points, one of the pinpoints of the path that is the most difficult for the feminine to navigate, is this place of falling back into your feminine energy of receiving and having the higher awareness, even though the ego and the mind doesn't understand it, right? This isn't an understanding, this isn't a mental game. It's having the awareness that, okay, this person has just triggered me to go through a spiritual awakening, right? And I might not understand it. I don't know what's going on. My mind's going this way and that way and a million different ways. But what I do know is that I've been activated to go through a spiritual awakening. And I don't have to necessarily understand all the nitty-gritties and the nuances of that at this point. But what I do know is that this is happening, right? I can't explain it. Other people don't seem to understand what I'm talking about. The masculine is not really being supportive at this point, but I feel these shifts. I feel these energetic shifts happening, right? You'll know when you're going through an awakening, and I've done videos on that for you guys to look back so that you can understand what actually happens. This is that surrender point. And surrender is a very difficult thing for a lot of people to do on this path, but it's a paramount stage that you need to fall into onto this path. And this is the knowing that I keep talking about, of saying that this is soul orchestrated and soul guided, right? So this is that place of having that awareness of, I'm not going to find the answers that I'm looking for in the masculine, right? Because the masculine, I'm viewing the masculine as external to me, as some, other person over there, right? Because that's what happens in the beginning stages and the midway stages on this path. We haven't come into the full knowing that we are one consciousness, that we are one soul, having an experience that is going through an awakening process. So this is the point of just saying, okay, I accept the fact that my masculine is not really stepping up to the plate for me in ways that I was hoping that they would, to sort of validate this or explain this to me or tell me that they're in it with me or whatever else. We have to be in that place of saying, okay, I can't continue to look to the masculine to validate me through this path. I have to actually reach higher. So this is big, guys. This is huge, actually. And this takes a while for us to really feel into, ease into, right? We have to reach for the higher knowing on this path as early as you can on this path. And if you haven't been able to do that, like your midway stages and you're still spinning, reach for the higher knowing on this path. Don't reach for the external physical masculine on this path. It's not going to help you in ways that your fear-based energy is wanting it to help you, right? It's not going to validate you in those ways or tell you that, yeah, I 100% I'm on this thing. And yep, I'm experiencing everything you're experiencing. And yep, I'm right there with you. That may happen later, later as you come into inner union and it finally flips. But in these beginning and midway stages, you have to reach for your higher knowing. You have to be in a place where you just trust the fact that your soul is doing this. Your soul is triggering you. Your soul is guiding you. Your soul is pulling you through the awakening process, and the soul is supporting you always, and it is not going to allow you to fall. And we have to be in that place of surrender to that higher knowing, and at the same time, start being the observer of what your ego and your fear-based energy is trying to tell you, right? The fear-based energy is going to be trying to navigate this thing in the same way that it's navigated all of your other 3D relationships in the past. But it's going to fail miserably every single time that it tries to navigate you in those same ways on this twin flame journey, right? Because this isn't a journey that you're having with a soulmate or a karmic or a non-family member. This is a journey that you're having with your same soul. They're not gonna act in the same way. They're not gonna do the same thing. So we need to drop these other things over here, right? And I know that that's a difficult thing to do, and it is a huge part of this process. But we need to start just surrendering to the fact that we are awakening and we're ascending, and that's it. And I don't understand it, and my mind doesn't understand it, but I can feel it, right? This is a knowing. I know it. And I don't understand what I know at this point, but I know that I know, right? I know that I know that I know that I know, right? This is the thing. This is what that surrender place is. And everyone on this path will get to that point, right? And for a lot of us, it's very difficult to allow this to happen. For me specifically, I fought this like hell. It took me a long time to surrender because I did not even like the word surrender. I didn't like what it meant. I didn't like the definition of it. I just wanted to bull my way through this process as hard and as fast as I could, Well, of course that backfires. It doesn't work like that, because that's all fear-based energy, and it's all ego trying to do things that it thinks it can do that it can't, right? So when we get into these stages, this is paramount, and I'm giving you guys a big key here, right? Reach for your higher knowing, right? So meditate, meditate, meditate. Don't care what anybody says. Meditation is your new best friend on this path. Start meditating every morning and start meditating every evening, whatever meditation you would like. But you need to get into the frequency. You need to start feeling into the frequency of your soul, right? The frequency of your ego and your mind and your emotional pain body is one of separation and lack and fear-based energy. The frequency of soul and consciousness and source and higher self that you are is one of oneness and unity, peace and freedom, and just everything being lifted off, right? You're no longer carrying around these heavy lower vibratory states of suffering and fear and loss and rejection and abandonment and pain and all of those things. When you get into a daily meditative practice, it is going to help to raise your vibration, right? It's going to help you to start tapping back into the true resonance, vibration, and alignment of who you are as an energetic being. So this is really key, right? And meditative practices are going to help you to surrender back into this path, right? Because as I said, when we're looking for the masculine to show up for us in the 3D, and when we're wondering why they're not showing up for us in the 3D, and we're wondering why nothing that we used to do in our other relationships works in this dynamic, and we just feel like we're floating off on our own and nobody really understands what we're talking about, and we're wanting to talk to friends or family and whatever else, and they don't get it, and the masculine is just not showing up for you in that way that you feel that you need support, right? And they're not going to until you get further along on this path, right? Not consistently, and specifically not in ways that you necessarily want them to. This is that surrender spot, okay? This is what I'm gonna drive home in this video. This is that stage that you really need to be surrendering to the surrendering process, basically, which means, as I said, you need to reach for that higher knowing, the higher aspect of you. And for some of you, if you're in the beginning stages of this path, and even some of you in the midway stages of this path, maybe being like, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that is. Some people just don't know what that is. They haven't felt that. If you haven't felt that, start meditating. Start meditating. If you have felt that, start meditating, right? Meditation is a big help on this path in regard to coming back into the frequency that is you as an energetic being. And it will help on the surrender aspect of this path that you need to fall into to have that awareness, that higher awareness that you're a soul and that you're being supported by yourself at a higher octave, right? It's all you and you. So when we say soul isn't something out there. It's not somewhere else. It's not on some other planet or some other plane, some other dimension or timeline. It's you at a higher vibratory state. This is just you experiencing the 3D separation paradigm for your own growth. But it's you who is the soul. So it isn't coming back in alignment with soul. You already are soul, right? You already are higher consciousness. You already are source, God, creation, all that is, a master creator. You are those things. All of those aspects of you are just having an experience in the 3D of separation in order for all those aspects of you to learn, to grow, and expand. So it's not like you're trying to ascend into this new thing that is you. You're already that. You're just dropping all the stuff that isn't that. You're dropping the experience that you had because it's no longer serving you. That's what awakening is. So remember, when I say things like soul and consciousness and higher self, all I'm talking about is you. Those are just higher vibratory aspects of you, right? They're not somewhere else. We sort of think like the higher self is like out there someplace else. You know, our soul is someplace else. No, it's you. It's you. So when we're talking about surrender, you're literally surrendering to the higher aspects that are already you. It's not something that you don't know. You know, it's not something foreign to you. I've said this on a lot of my videos. It's you. It's the highest aspect of you that you are surrendering to, and basically that you are trusting to guide you through this path. You are guiding yourself through this path. The highest aspect of you that has nothing but love for you, nothing but support for you, you know, has always has your highest good happening, is what's guiding you. That's what's supporting you, right? That's what you're surrendering to. We have this idea that we're surrendering to something that we don't know. And I had that too. And so that's why we're afraid of it a lot of the times, because what does that even mean? What do you mean I'm surrendering? What am I surrendering to? You. The highest vibratory state of you. That's what this whole thing is, right? So I hope that that hits home. I hope that that helps some of you to like really get that this is just reaching for the highest aspect of you and knowing that that aspect of you is who's guiding this entire thing and orchestrating this entire thing, right? And so it isn't a matter of leaning on the physical aspect of the masculine, because the physical aspect of the masculine is just a manifestation of your same energy that is assisting you to break free of the 3D constructs. The true aspect of the masculine is within you. You are one being. You're just experiencing yourself in two separate incarnations in order to have this experience of separation. That's it. The masculine is never outside of you. The masculine is never not with you. The masculine has never, ever not been with you, and they will never, ever not be with you, because you're the same consciousness. You are the same being. You have the same higher self. You are the same higher self, right? So just have that awareness that you don't need to look to the physical masculine to, you know, feel that support or have that validation on this path. It's the highest masculine that is already within you that is assisting you through every single aspect of this. You are one energetic being. You are one consciousness. You can never lose them. They are you, right? So find that solace within you, because that's where it exists. That's what it is, right? This is an awakening process that is bringing you back to the truth of what it is. I hope that helps. So I'm going to be releasing my one-on-one coaching soon, and for my OG subscribers that have been with me since the get-go, I appreciate you guys so well. I've been promising you guys that my course is going to be coming out for like 2 months. It will be coming out. The first part of it will be coming out this week. So for those of you guys who have been looking for that and asked me for that for the last couple months, it'll be out, yeah, this week. So to all my new subscribers, again, thank you so much. I'm very humbled by all of the comments and all of the emails. I really appreciate you guys as well. So I hope this helps, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.